Hey everyone, Maurice here. So for this video, I'm going to look at the while loop. A loop allows us to continuously do things over and over until something turns false. So I got a little picture to show you. This is exactly how a while loop is set up. It's while, and then parentheses, and then inside that parentheses is a condition. This condition must always test true to enter this while loop, and then this while loop will keep going. So you do whatever code you have, and then somewhere inside here, you have to update your condition. And it's going to keep going, keep going, keep going, until this condition finally tests false, and then it'll skip the while loop and do whatever code is after it. So let's go ahead and start with an example first. Let's just do while, and we'll just do true. Let's see out, and I'll just see out like blah. That end line. Now, remember, a loop will execute every time as long as its condition, and the condition is what's inside the parentheses, is true. So, this loop will execute forever. It's called an infinite loop. No big surprise there. So let's see what it looks like. And there we go. And even then you can do like some crazy little stuff if you want. You could like add random spaces and it'll look like the Matrix. So let's see how this looks. There we go, run it again, and see, it looks all crazy. But no matter what, it's going to keep doing that because this is always true. So it always goes see out, comes back up, and like, oh, what's inside my parentheses is still true. I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. So we gotta have some type of condition in there. So let's just do a simple little example where we'll just multiply a number until it's equal to 100 or greater than 100. We'll see. Let's just do an integer, and let's just make it num, so equal to 0. And remember, it's always good practice to initialize your variables to 0 or false, whatever data type they might be. It's always good practice to initialize them to something. Let's do while, and then inside our parentheses, remember, our condition. Let's say, well, num is less than 100. There we go. And let's see out num, that way we can see what it is. And now let's do num is equal to num times 2. There we go. So let's look at this compared to what I just drew. So I have while, and my condition is, well, my number is less than 100. And then I have my code, cout, and then at the very end, I'm updating my condition. So if I was going to say this in plain English, it would be keep printing the variable number until it is greater than 100, and then stop. And that's exactly what it's going to do. Let's go ahead and run. Oops, looks like I got a mistake. Oh, I shouldn't have said equal to 0. Let's try 1, because anything times 0 is 0, so 0 times 2 is 0. My little mistake. There we go. Now let's go ahead and run that. And voila. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. The reason it stopped there, because when it would do 64 times 2, it's greater than 100. So we could do less than or equal to, and instead of multiplying, let's just add, and now we can make this 0. So let's run this, and voila, has every number from 0 to 100 going by 2's. And if I did include that equal to, we'll see it'll actually skip 100 and stop at 98. Yep. And the reason it did that is because once the loop is going, so it's like 98 is less than 100. Okay, so I enter my loop, I see out 98. 98 plus 2 is now 100. I jump back up. Is 100 less than 100? No, it is not. So that tests false, and then it just goes to my return 0 and quits the program. So that's why I need the less than or equal to. So now that I have the less than equal to, I can print that 100th value. And the best example, the best metaphor I always thought of a while loop is think of it like a gear. So this gear is going to keep turning, it's going to keep turning until this condition says otherwise. And this condition can be absolutely manipulated by the user. So let's go ahead and look at that. So let's do num, and let's make another variable, int upper bound. Let's set that equal to 0. Let's do a cout statement. Enter an upper bound. Oops. There we go. Enter an upper bound for the while loop to print. Okay, let's see in that number. Cin upper bound. And let's go ahead and change this to upper bound, and everything should be good. So let's go ahead and run this. Let's do, say, what, an upper bound of 20. 0 to 20. Nice. Let's do, let's say, 500. That's going to be pretty long. There we go. So as every number from 0 to 500, going by 2's. And I've done evens, but it does exactly the same thing with odds. So let's try 19. There we go. And remember, so it's at 18. So it's in here. Print 18. 18 plus 2 is now 20. Comes back up here. Is 20 less than or equal to 19? False. So it stops and goes to my turn 0 and just quits the program. And that's the idea of a loop. It allows us to do things repeating. And remember, every time you have a loop, the things that should be inside the loop are things that we want to happen over and over and over. So it's really good if you need to do any type of calculations, print a type of menu, validation input is super useful for a while loop to make sure that a user entered the correct things. Say you only want them to enter a positive number, but then the user accidentally enters a negative number by accident. You can use a loop that way. It says, oh, sorry, you entered this wrong. I'm going to keep running this until you enter a positive number, until I make you do something correct. And I'm going to look at that input validation here in a later video soon. But for right now, I just want to introduce you to the basic concept of how a while loop is ran, how it continues going up until the condition turns false, and this condition can be manipulated by the user, by the programmer, depending whatever you put in here. And remember, as long as this tests true, it's going to keep going. So if you get an infinite loop, go ahead and look at this. You got some small little logic error. Probably your sign is off wrong. Maybe you got your bounds wrong. And just go ahead and look at that, and you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly. And as always, thanks for watching.